Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Experience Maker Live Show. My name is Dan Gingiss. I am a customer experience speaker, coach, author, and podcaster. So happy to have you here with us on a special day. We're normally here Thursdays at noon Eastern, but we moved it to Friday this week because I actually had a speech yesterday and couldn't be in two places at once, but excited to be here with you on a Friday. Hey, you may have noticed if you followed any of my social channels that I launched a book last week. It was called The Experience Maker, How to Create Remarkable Experiences That Your Customers Can't Wait to Share. Had a great first week, and I so appreciate everybody that went out and bought the book. I do want to remind you that if you go to the experiencemakerbook.com, you can get 3 free bonuses. Those are still going on even after the book is launched. You get 3 free bonuses just for buying the book. And there's also opportunities if you're interested for purchasing in bulk for your company. Makes a great holiday gift. Plus, we all know with customer experience, it is so much easier when everybody's on the same page, so to speak. So I have a great guest today. I'm excited to welcome him to the show. He is the author of Crushing the Competition with Service, a personal trainer, and the founder and coach of H4 Training. Hank Ebeling, welcome to the show, man.
What's going on, Dan? How's everybody feeling? We got a beautiful Friday today. Dan and I are both fellow Chicagoans, so this is going to be a fun time. Indeed,
we have a gorgeous day. We were talking about playoff baseball, and only one of our teams is actually going to be participating this year, but still an exciting time to be in Chicago. So, Hank, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yeah, so I started one of my gyms back in 2013, H4 Training. We're a small group personal training facility, and then we opened our second location 4 years later in 2017. We're just outside of Chicago in the western suburbs, and kind of the foundation for the business and the business success has all been based around making sure that customer service is a priority and the customer experience of our clients is number one. We like to say, people over profits, because the profits will come when you focus on people. So that's kind of our emphasis, and that's helped us grow. And that's kind of why I decided to end up writing the book, just to kind of, from a true business owner standpoint, someone that's in the trenches every day, applying a lot of the stuff that you talk about, I talk about, others talk about, what's working and what's not working.
Well, I love the fact that you go from being a personal trainer to writing a book about customer service. It's not the most obvious path, but I really like it. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you do to focus on service and experience in your business.
Yeah, I mean, number one, I think it starts with the leader, and that's myself. Those of you listening, if you're in a leadership role, you have to make it a priority. And for me, from day one, it was a priority, meaning that when we hire somebody, I could care less about their training skills. I'm just looking for traits. Who's going to be empathetic? Who's, going to care about our clients? So I'm looking for traits. So that's the number one thing. I want to make sure I'm bringing the right people on board. And then, especially for our industry, and I think all industries, so many people spend so much time with new hires focusing on, training the technical side of the job when they first start. And we put so much time into almost neglecting that and just focusing on relationship building, how to interact with clients, what kind of experience we want to create. So I like to put a lot of emphasis in those areas before all else, and then everything else after that is easy.
Yeah, it's so great that you're focused there. I mean, one of the things that I say in my book, and I want to see how this rings true to you, is that competing on price has become pretty much a loser's game. It's a race to the bottom. And competing on product or service is really difficult because, let's face it, there's a million other personal trainers out there. So what you do every day, yeah, you may do it better or worse than somebody else, or slightly different. But in essence, so many businesses have become commoditized. And so in order to stand out, really what's left besides from product and price is experience. So I think that I want to understand, does that ring true to you? And is that sort of how you landed in the place that you landed, or some other way?
Yeah, no, 100%. And we're actually kind of more on the higher end of the price range, and we're not going to compete on price. At the end of the day, if you want something cheaper, you go another way. But I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, whether you're fitness, whatever business, anybody can steal your products for the most part. They can steal what you have within your business, but they can't steal the relationships. They can't steal that environment, that feeling within your walls that customers have. So they can't steal that. So that's why that is that true competitive edge.
Thank you, Chris, for jumping on. As always, Chris coming off another super successful giving day where he goes around the country and helps local organizations raise money for tons and tons of charities. Does such an amazing job. So great job, Chris, and thank you for being here as always. So Hank, what's going on now in your industry, or what has been going on during the last 18 months as it's become a lot more difficult to be in person with people, and people are, some people are fearful to go to the gym, and how has all of that changed, and how have you adapted?
Yeah, I think, for us, and again, probably most businesses, people now more than ever need those good feelings. They need the positivity. They need the relationships, because so many people have been, singled out at home. They're depressed, they're angry, whatever the case may be. So it's become our responsibility, not just health standpoint from a physical health, but also a mental health, and to be there for people. And that's kind of that empathy, to understand there's a lot going on for people. And then that care factor for us, that's the number one thing in our business, is we got to care. We got to outcare the competition. So we really got to care and understand what's going on in everyone's lives. So you have to take almost that even more mental approach. And, there's more and more competition going to the online space now. And that just means, just because places are closing, brick and mortar, doesn't mean the competition is getting, less and less. It just means they're going in different avenues. So even more so now, when you get somebody in front of you, it's about relationships, because, it's that touch and feel, if you will, that it's different. It's just a feeling that they can't get sometimes virtual, and it's really important to people. So we really emphasize that.
Yeah, I'm thinking even, the rush to buying Pelotons, right? And you're doing these workouts at home now in front of a screen. And I have to imagine that affects business for you. And yet, riding a bike isn't the only form of exercise that you can do, and it only it only works certain muscles, and et cetera. And so you'd think that it could be part of a larger plan, but in a time like this, it may be easier just to stay home. What are you finding? So I love that you mentioned mental health, because that's become such a key issue for employees everywhere. For anybody that's stuck working at home. I'm on a board with the student newspaper at my university, and even the students are talking about mental health all of the time, which was certainly nothing that never uttered those words when I was in college. So how does somebody who is a personal trainer, and I'm assuming when you went to school and you learned how to do what you do, they weren't teaching you mental health. So how do you evolve into that?
Yeah, I think it's just just like, you got to focus on your customers, you got to focus on your team. And it's just honestly talking to people. It's talking to your team. What do they need? Do they need more time off? Do they need, XYZ? What is it that they need right now for them to be mentally there for your business and for your customers, and just, to make it, to not burn out, to not, kind of go in a bad place. So I think it's just having conversations and communicating, and just, having those conversations about, hey, tell me, what do you need right now? Like, do you need some more time off? Do you need less time off because you want to get out of the house? You've been in the house. Like, what do you need? So I think it's just having that true line of communication that sometimes business owners don't always do, right? They kind of, hey, I'm up here, you're here. Maybe we'll have our passing conversations, but I think it's so important.
Well, one of the things I think business owners miss is that those people that you're taking care of are the people that are taking care of your customers. And so if they're not happy, if they're not healthy, if they're not in a good mental space, it's really hard to expect them to then deliver that to your customers. So it is so important to start with the people that work for you, so that they're able to do the same for customers.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, I meet you for the first time, and I'm considering you as a personal trainer. What questions should I ask you? And then what are you going to tell me that really convinces me that you're different from the other 6 trainers I've already talked to?
So you, as the potential client, what should you ask me? I mean, generally, I think you want to know, has the individual worked with others like yourself? So, you know, if you're older, younger, are you an athlete? Do you have injuries? That's always number one. And number two, what's the environment like, right? That goes to the experience. Is it a CrossFit, ultra competitive, and I'm not that type of person? Is it all female and I'm a male and, you know, I want to be with my guys? Is it the opposite? So I think environment, have you worked with somebody like myself? And then for us, it goes back to the people thing. It's a relationship. You got to understand who's in front of you. And is it somebody that is looking for comfort? You have to make sure that comes across, that this will be a comfortable environment. Is it somebody that's like, hey, I'm ultra competitive, I want this? We can do that for you. You know, we can adjust accordingly. So I think it's just understanding who's in front of you and making sure that you can adapt as a business to meet their needs. And that's creating that personalized experience for each client, which is what we aim to do within the session. And we can have multiple people in 1 hour, 5, 6, 7, 8 different personalities that all have different needs, and they all need to get their experience that they expect, which is definitely challenging, but you have to do it if you want to succeed.
Have the requests or the goals of your prospects or clients changed over the last 2 years because of sitting at home so much? Or are people coming in with different things going on? I'm thinking kind of like, oh, I haven't been getting out, so now it's a weight loss type of a thing. I put on the COVID-15 or something like that. Or it might just be, I got to get myself into a better mental space, and so that's going to require X, Y, Z physically. Have you seen just the requests changing at all?
You know, weight loss always is high priority for everyone, but a big thing I think is just stress relief, whether it's way too much time with the family, spouse at home, the stress of just what's going on with society, stress, maybe money, whatever the case, but you're seeing more, not requests, but hey, I need stress relief. I need to throw something against the wall. I need to do something. I need an outlet. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing you're seeing right now is people just need an outlet.
Totally makes sense. So let's talk a little bit more about your book. I'm going to put it back up on the screen here, available on Amazon and I'm sure other places. So tell us about it, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Delivering Outstanding Customer Service and Customer Experience.
Yeah, so just, you know, being in business now, we're approaching our 8th year, and just having discussions with other business owners, just a couple local business owners who I've chatted with, to start to see a pattern and a methodology that seemed to work really well to turn a business into a customer-centric, right, a premier customer service business, specifically for the small business owners, right, not the multi-million-dollar ginormous businesses, but those smaller businesses. And so I kind of created this methodology, which essentially used in my own business, and kind of lay it out, like, what do you need? We talk about the LTS method, which is leadership, team, systems, and strategies, and kind of what do you need to do to transform your business to not being, hey, we have a good customer service, right? We have good customer experience, but let's get you to that next level and really make a consistent experience, consistent high-end service. And that's what the book's all about. Made it super short, easy to read, you know, knowing that people have short attention spans. And
it's a small book with heavy points. I like
there you go. That's a perfect mention of it. And that's literally what I did. Let's just get to the point. Let's make it quick, and let's make it something that someone could, you know, use and apply right away.
I also like that, a couple of the reviews mentioned that it is not just for the fitness industry. And it doesn't actually, other than using the word crushing, it doesn't sound like it's only for fitness professionals.
No, and in fact, I mean, other than a couple of examples that we use in the book, some service points and things like that, you wouldn't even know what industry I was in if you read it, especially if you skipped over the intro. But no, I mean, we both know customer service. It can be you own a laundromat, you own a restaurant, you own a gym, a salon, landscaping, you name it. The principles are the same. They're just going to be adjusted, obviously, according to the field, but principles stay the same.
Yeah. So you asked me to remind you about coffee to make a client's day, a particular story. You want to share that with us?
Yeah. So we like to do, those of you in the customer service world, right? Surprise and delight, right? Made famous by the Ritz. So we have a monthly budget. Every month we must spend X amount of dollars on surprising and delighting our clients. And we had a perfect opportunity once. We had a woman who unfortunately no longer with us because she moved, but like the ideal client, super sweet, positive, always upbeat, coming in ready to go, worked hard. And she came in one day. It's all about relationships, knowing who your customers are. She just was not right, very quiet. You can just tell she was not herself. And, we said, hey, Julie, what's the matter? And she said, you know what? My day's wrecked already. I woke up late. My kids are freaking out. The dog's barking. I got this big, important presentation today, and I'm just already behind the 8 ball. And she said, you guys know if I don't get my coffee, I'm not a good person throughout the day. And she goes, this just happens to be the day that I have this really important presentation at work. And so she said, I just feel like my day's ruined already. This is, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So she starts to work out and say to one of our trainers, hey, as we get close to the end, let's go grab her favorite drink. We know it's a latte. We know how she likes it. Let's just get it for her, right? So she's finishing up the workout. She gets her last reps in. She starts walking to the front desk, and there it is. It's sitting on our counter. It has her name on it. We put a little note on there, a little smiley face for a little extra. And, you would have thought we just put like a mound of, $100 bills. I mean, the look on her face, like, is this for me? Yeah, you told us if you didn't have your coffee, your day's ruined. You got this big presentation. We don't want your day to be ruined. And again, the look on her face for what, $3 to, it was Starbucks, so maybe it was like $5, but the look on her face was priceless. And she walked out the door. Your goal as a business is always to have people leave in a better mood than when they come in. We elevated that mood. Her experience within our walls was here, and then we took it to that next level, all just by spending a few dollars, listening to her, understanding the situation, knowing her well, and then we just executed on it. And a few hours later, that was on Facebook with a picture of the coffee. Look at my gym. This is why I love this place. So the effect, not only to make that person's day, but the free marketing on top of it, priceless. And
I'm so glad you said that, dude, because literally that's what my book is about. It's about experiences that people want to share. And that is such a perfect example. You didn't ask her to share it on Facebook. She couldn't help herself but to share it because you treated her with kindness. You showed personalization. People ask, well, what's personalization really mean? It's about knowing your customer. The fact that you're a gym and you know her coffee order says a lot about what kind of gym you are, because you've taken the time to get to know her. So how can other viewers or listeners of this show do the same thing? Well, if you're on Zoom with somebody and you see the dog run by, ask what the dog's name is. Mark it down in your little book and use that again in the future. Don't be afraid to send somebody a box of dog biscuits, because you get into good with someone's dog and they will love you forever. I always mention birthdays and how many times, when we sign up for your gym, probably at some point you ask for what our birthday is.
Yep.
Same as when we apply to a bank or an insurance company. But then you think about the number of organizations that remember to wish us a happy birthday. It's almost none. And it's such an easy thing to do to show people that you're paying attention and that you care. So I love that story. I think that is, phenomenal work. And the thing also is what people have to understand is that was one customer. It doesn't mean you go get coffees for every customer.
No.
Because your customer may not even drink coffee. They may be, they may be a tea person or whatever. It's about knowing the person well enough to know that that was the right thing to do for them.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said, it's having awareness for you and your team to understand those moments. And actually, what you said, we had an intern once, and we were doing something similar, and they're like, "Oh, are we going to go buy everybody that's in a bad mood this?" And I was like, "Well, we're not going to go that far," but they're like, "Oh, okay, that would be expensive." And I said, "Yeah, that's not how it works." So exactly to your point, you just got to know those right opportunities and then strike when that opportunity is there.
And if you think about it, for those that are saying, okay, well, I don't have the budget for this, or what's the ROI of this, just the fact that this woman posted it on Facebook, think of it as you paid $5 for a Facebook ad, except a Facebook ad would have run you a lot more than that. And what she posted was far more authentic and genuine than you would have been if you were the company trying to sell your services on Facebook. So, a single person becomes a new client of yours because of that. And I mean, the ROI, pretty good. I think we do that one every day.
Yeah.
Kay, thank you for your comments. Sometimes a little something goes a long way. Absolutely. I talk about one of the stories in my book, happens to also be about Starbucks, where Discover Card sent out $5 gift cards to new customers. No sales pitch, nothing, just saying, hey, thanks for being a new customer. And it was unbelievable how many people shared not only the gift card, but then the drink that they got with the gift card. And they thanked Discover and they hashtagged it and all this stuff. And it was just this small gift. It was not spending, it wasn't a $500 gift card. It was $5, but it really can make a difference. And yours is even a better example because it's in person and it is so customized to this woman. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love it. As always, for those that are watching, we can take questions. If you'd like, just put them into Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. We'd be happy to take it. Although we are coming up on time. So Hank, tell me what's next for you, for your company. Are you writing another book? Just what's next in your world?
Yeah. So, we're looking to expand probably down the road here and start, expanding on our locations. Personally, trying to work more and more with small business owners on transforming their business to take them to that level. You can focus on crushing the competition with service. That's kind of become a niche since that's the realm I'm in. I have a pretty good understanding of the makeup and how things are going in a small business owner's mind and the actual business. So that's kind of the route, moving that direction, hoping to launch an online course specifically on that in the coming months. So that's the direction. I think you're also doing a course as well, or maybe you launched it, but yeah, that's kind of the direction.
That's awesome. As you were saying that, I don't know why it just occurred to me. I wonder whether you could take your business on the road into other businesses and offer services, even if it's just a day and it's a free training session or something to employees. This whole connection back to employees' mental and physical health is so important. Might be a really interesting employee perk that you could bring into other businesses. I've seen that at conferences, actually. Sometimes they bring in a yoga instructor, or they bring in somebody even in the middle of the conference, and they ask everybody to stand up and we do some stretching or something like that. And I think it's a really interesting touch that doesn't have to be directly related to your business. I think that happened to be a social media conference, right? So stretching and yoga doesn't have a whole lot to do with social media, but the idea that they cared enough about the attendees to bring somebody in like that, I thought was really cool. So Hank, how do people get in contact with you if they would like to follow up or just connect with you?
Yeah, feel free to check me out on social media, LinkedIn, Hank Ebeling. Find me on Instagram, Hank Ebeling. Those are probably the two fastest places. But yeah, let's connect. Love to hear from you. Love to help you out. And even though he mentioned it, don't forget again about Dan's book. It's a great book. Yes, check out Crush the Competition as well. But Dan's got a great book. Just read it the other day. So check them both out.
Well, thank you, sir. In fact, I say they just go to Amazon and buy them both. I think that's the best way to do it. So
early stocking stuffer for yourself.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you, Hank. I really appreciate you being on the show. Since you are a fellow Chicagoan, hopefully we will connect in person sometime. Would love to hang out and probably get some fitness tips. I need to get myself back to the gym too. So
we're going over deep dish pizza, right? We'll splurge. Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of fitness I like, is hand to mouth. It's great. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you being here. And to our audience, thank you so much for being here as well, especially on a Friday when we're normally here on Thursdays. But you know what? I like shaking it up a little bit. And we got some new people joining us today, which I always appreciate. Next week, we are going to invite Jason Goldberg onto the show. Jason is more commonly known as the Retail Geek. That's his name, not mine. He is the Chief Commerce Officer at Publicis, which is a public relations company, major company. And he goes by Retail Geek, and his expertise is in customer experience and customer service in the retail sector. So love checking out different industries. I always think it's really important to get to know different industries. I understand that most of the people watching today are not in the fitness industry. That's okay. You can learn from that industry and take some of the things that Hank taught us today and do something similar in your business. And that's what I always try to do here on the show and in all my content, is just to give you that inspiration to try to do a little bit better with your customers. And we always can learn from other industries. I talked to somebody at a bank this week and I said, you know, if you're looking for inspiration, the last place to look is at other banks. And similarly, I would guess that Hank does not look to other fitness organizations or other clubs for inspiration, because he's probably not going to find it there. He's going to find it in other industries. So that's why I try to bring you lots of different industries to learn from. Thanks so much for being here. We will see you next Thursday at noon Eastern, not Friday. We'll be back on our Thursday schedule with Jason. Have a terrific weekend. I'm Dan Gingiss. Take care.